Chapter 7b, Solving Trigonometric Equations. We're going to take information from our unit circle and use our calculator. So you're definitely going to want a calculator for your notes today. If you don't have one, go ahead and put your computer on pause and grab one. It says, for what values of theta does sine theta equal negative square root 3 over 2? By definition, sine, remember, is the y-coordinate on the unit circle. When the y-coordinate is negative square root 3 over 2, you have two answers in either degree form or radian form. In degree form, y equals negative square root 3 over 2 at 240 degrees and at 300 degrees. Over in quadrants 3 and 4 on the unit circle. In radian form, same kind of idea, you would have 4 pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. So these are questions that we answered kind of similarly back in chapter 6. When does cosine equal 0? Well, cosine is the x-coordinate. So when does x equal 0? We know that that's true at 90 and 270 in degree form, or at pi over 2, 2, fix that there, we go, and 3 pi over 2. Tangent equals negative 1. We have that as well. Tangent, remember, is y over x. It will equal negative 1 when x and y are the same numbers, but different signs. And you can see negative 1 written kind of on the outside of the circle over in quadrants 2 and down in quadrant 4 at 135 and 315. And then the radian version for that would be 3 pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. So anything that we work with using sine, cosine, or tangent always is going to have two answers, unless it's one of the coordinates on the boundary or on one of the quadrants, like 1, 0 or 0, 1. For all sine values, you get your answer for sine by taking the inverse of your trig, of your answer. So for all values of sine theta, theta equals taking the inverse of a number. So that negative 1 means taking the inverse. On the unit circle, we just look at the unit circle. But if we don't have a unit circle friendly number, we have to plug it into our calculator. So that's going to be the first answer. Then what we do, since sine is matching in quadrants 1 and 2, we do 180 minus the answer we got to get the second one. So here's your first answer by taking the inverse, and then here's your second answer by subtracting that from 180. This is going to be a rule you want to remember. To find a cosine value, it's the same idea. We either find the two locations on the unit circle, or we plug it into our calculator by taking cosine inverse of whatever number we're looking at. It could be a fraction, it could be a decimal, whatever the case may be. But the rule for cosine, since it's in quadrants 1 and 4 where x are the same, the rule here is instead of subtracting from 180, we subtract from 360. And that would give us our answer for cosine. And then tangent, same rules apply. Tangent's always in opposite quadrants. So if we have to use our calculator, we'll take the inverse of whatever fraction or decimal we're given. And the rule for tangent is different than sine and cosine. Obviously, they're all going to be different. What you do for tangent is you take 180, but now you add your angle measure, and that will give you your new angle value. This is also true for radians. So if we go back to sine, instead of doing 180 minus theta for your answer, you would do pi minus your answer if you're in radian form. 360, we would do 2 pi, that's the equivalent to 360, minus theta. And then for 180 plus theta in radian form for tangent, that's pi plus theta. So you have 3 sets of rules for degrees and 3 sets of rules for radians. The reason you'll need your calculator is that these definitions are true, like I said, on the unit circle with exact values, but you're also going to have approximate answers. That'll include angles that are still on the unit circle, but not the 16 that we found before, and not the exact answers we did using sum and difference formulas. It says when solving, your restrictions are either going to be between 0 and 2 pi or 0 and 360. Here are some things you'll want to keep in mind. If you're solving for an angle, you want to take the inverse of the trig function on your calculator. Your answer always has to be a positive answer. You want your angle to have a positive rotation. If you get a negative angle measure, like when you type in an inverse and you get a negative, you need to make that angle coterminal. So here's how we do that. Take your angle and either add 360 to it, that would make it positive, or take your angle and if it's in radian form, add 2 pi to it, and that would make it positive as well. Once you know that, you apply the rule up above to get your second angle and then you're done. Now your answer actually cannot equal 360 or 2 pi, or be larger than that. So you wouldn't have an angle theta equals 500 degrees. That doesn't work. If you have a choice of either 360 or 2 pi or 0, because they have the same location on the right-hand side, choose the 0 as your answer for the word problem, or for whatever problem you're working on. Last but not least, it's going to be important to know what kind of answer you're looking for. In the directions, you'll have a restriction like this one or this one. It says if theta is between 0 and 360, make sure your calculator is then in degree mode. It's important to check that before you start a section of homework. You want to make sure you're in the correct mode, otherwise your angles won't match. If the restriction's between 0 and 2 pi in the directions, then you should be in radian mode. All right, so you really do need a calculator now. Pause the video if you're in class, come and grab one from me. Otherwise, try to use your cell phone for trig inverses, but you want to follow along and attempt to plug these in on your own. That'll be the expectation for the next day. All right, today's focus is going to be all about degrees. It says solve for values of theta between 0 and 360. So make sure you're in degree mode on your calculator. It'll also be important to note the rounding rules. It says round to the nearest tenth of a degree. Okay, so for example A, sine theta equals 0.43. This decimal isn't one of our fractions that we had from the unit circle specific values. This means we're going to have an approximate solution. So to get theta by itself, we don't divide by the sine prefix. We actually do that sine inverse rule. And we type in 0.43. On your calculator, where you see sine, cosine, and tangent, right above them, the shift or second option should give you that inverse definition. So you literally just type in second sine to get sine -1 to show up, 0.43, and you press enter. To the nearest tenth, and we'll put a little kind of squiggly equals there, this is approximately 25.5 degrees. So you can see that's definitely not one of our 16 locations. There's one answer. To get your second answer, the definition up above, we said subtract that from 180. So if we do 180 minus 25.5, we get 154.5. That's our second answer. Notice 25.5 degrees is in quadrant 1 and 154 is in quadrant 2. That's when sine would be positive. Let's try the next example. The next one's going to be interesting, so make sure to follow along. Tangent theta equals -0.8. So that's again not one of our fractions that were specific on the unit circle. That means we're going to plug this in to our calculator. And what makes this answer unique is that if tangent has a negative decimal, your angle is also going to be negative. So here's what we do. When you take the inverse of -0.8, we get theta is approximately -38.7. And remember up above we said if you get a negative answer, make sure to add 360 to it and make it coterminal. So the actual positive rotation would be 321 0.3 degrees. And that's in quadrant 4, and tangent's negative in quadrant 4. Now to get the second angle, here's where we have to be kind of particular. The second angle comes from your original calculator answer into the definition up above. We said for that second angle, we do 180 plus our answer from before, which is negative 38.7. That actually just kind of becomes a subtraction problem. 180 minus 38.7 is 141.3. Think about where that angle is. 141.3 would be in quadrant 2, and haha, guess what? Tangent's negative. All right, take that last one. Here we have cosine theta equals 1/3. 1/3 is close to some of the fractions on the unit circle, but it's not exact. So again, we're going to use our calculator. Theta equals tan inverse, not tan, wow. Just did tangent, didn't we? How about cosine inverse? There we go. Cosine inverse 1/3. Make sure to put that 1/3 in parentheses. When you enter that in, you should get theta equals approximately 70.5 degrees. That would be in quadrant 1, and cosine's positive in quadrant 1. It's a positive angle, so we're good to go there. The rule for cosine's second answer, remember it says take 360, yeah, there's a 60, there you go, minus 70.5. And your second angle for cosine should be 289.5, and that's in quadrant 4, where cosine is positive. You may have noticed on the front that we didn't have any of the reciprocals. Well, guess what? They're possible. When you have a reciprocal equation or function that you're solving, the first thing you want to do is just isolate that trig term. So it could be cotangent theta, it could be cosecant x, whatever the case may be. Isolate your trig term. Take the reciprocal of each side, and I'll show you how to do that. Whoa, let me spell that first, and then I'll show you how to do that. Reciprocal. There we go. And then solve taking the inverse. Here's how this one works. Again, we're still sticking with degrees just for today. It says solve for all your values between 0 and 360 and round to the nearest tenth of a degree. All right, secant theta equals 2.5. So secant theta is the trig term. It's already by itself. Nothing's being added or subtracted, so that's awesome. Then it says take the reciprocal of each side. So when I say that, we're not going to make secant a fraction. We're just going to say that the reciprocal of secant is cosine. But then we have to take the reciprocal on the right-hand side. The reciprocal of 2.5 would just be 1 over 2.5. It's literally that easy, you guys. So cosecant, or if secant equals 2.5, then cosine is just the reciprocal, 1 over 2.5. And cosine is what we can plug in to our calculator. So then to get theta by itself, we'll take cosine inverse of that fraction, 1 over 2.5. Type that in and see what you get. Hopefully you get approximately to the nearest tenth, 66.4 degrees. There's your first answer. And then cosine's rule for the second answer, subtract that from 360. And your second answer should be approximately 293.6. So those would be your two solutions. The next one has cotangent, and with cotangent, we have to isolate the cotangent theta term. That's the trig term. It has to be the trig prefix and the angle. Remember, the angle could be a letter, it could be theta, whatever the case may be. You don't want to get that by itself until the last step. If it's minus 3, let's just add 3 to move it over. And that will isolate our trig term. Cotangent theta equals 3. Then it says take the reciprocal of each side. Cotangent's reciprocal is tangent. The reciprocal of 3, 1/3. Once you isolate your trig definition as either sine, cosine, or tangent, you're ready to take the inverse using your calculator. If we take tan inverse of 1/3, type that in, and you should get, it's a tiny angle, you should get approximately 18.4 degrees. That's a small measure in quadrant 1. And then tangent's rule for its second value, 180 plus 18.4, would be 198.4. And that puts you in quadrant 3, 198.4 degrees. And guess what? Tangent's positive, and then so is cotangent. Last but not least, we have a cosecant, so we just have one of each type. 4 minus cosecant theta equals 7. To get cosecant theta by itself, we're going to subtract 4. But be careful, it's still negative cosecant theta is equal to positive 3. So then if we take we have to divide by negative 1, and we get cosecant theta equals negative 3. Now we're ready for the reciprocal, and I'm going to need a little bit more room on this right-hand side. Slide that over a little bit. Hopefully you have enough space to write this out. The reciprocal of cosecant is sine, and the reciprocal of negative 3, careful, negative 1/3. The sign stays the same. So then to get theta by itself, we're going to take the inverse of negative 1/3. When you type that in on your calculator, we get a negative measure, negative 19.5. Remember, the rule to make anything coterminal is you automatically just add 360 to it. That'll loop it back around so that it's going in a counterclockwise direction. And that will give you an answer of 340.5. That's in quadrant 4, and sine is negative in quadrant 4. So the sine equaling negative 1/3 would make sense. Now remember your rule to get that second measure. We're going to take the original value on our calculator and plug it into that other formula for sine. So then we'll take the 180 minus negative 19.5, which becomes plus, a double negative changes to positive. 180 plus 19.5 would be 199.5, and that angle is in quadrant 3. And yes, in fact, sine is negative in quadrant 3. So we're just going to focus on degree measures today, and then we'll add on radians after a little bit of practice.